At first, spirits were not friendly. They chased strangers away. For a long time, this land was theirs, for no one else wanted to stay. But now today we can be free, and the land belongs to all. We'll make all land a happy dreamland. All will be welcome to all. When the British heard of his place, they came to settle him. They brought Africans to our soil. The Caribs were to stay within. French people got to know of the land, so they came with a mind and will. Though the British want back the land, the French country's here with us still.
The views expressed during this program are not necessarily those of Wise Q95 FM Radio. Wise Q95 FM Radio has not been able to independently verify the factual correctness or the allegations and statements made during the course of this program and cannot vouch for their accuracy. Therefore, Wise Q95 FM Radio will not accept any responsibility or liability for the statements or allegations made in the course of this program.
Dominican, we need our electoral reform. Tell them but call the cabinet. Money can just go to it like that. Dominicans spend their money. You should perform your duty. How long before we get our reform? We have some election in the interest of one man. But like Egypt, the people need freedom. If you cannot deliver, then give us back our dollars. Stay in your lane. We know you know our country loves to spend the money, sir. Stay in your lane. The people frustrated and tired. Dominicans have taken all they can take. Give us reform before the fall house break. The people know of who was brigade. They're 29 and blood that was shed. So if you don't deliver for what he paid, guy fool was it. Dominicans, Dominicans, we need to fight for what we believe. Enough talking, time for action.
Good evening, welcome to Saturday Night Live, the program of the Electoral Reform Coalition. Tonight we're here and we want to say to you wherever you are in Dominica, the Caribbean, and the world, that we're here. It's already 8:13. It's pouring, the rain is pouring down heavy. And of course, we're here tonight. Paula is with me in studio, and Kent is expected in line. Tonight we're here, and we're here. And as we said to you last week, when we come here tonight, we will, seek your pledges on contribution to assist us in our activities and more so our program on July 7th, 2024. So we'll tell you a little more about that. But just quickly, I just want to extend, on behalf of the Electoral Reform Coalition, our heartfelt sympathy to the Simon family in Maho and Jimmet, and also the Birmingham family as well, on the passing of the brother, uncle, granduncle, great-granduncle, Ashraf Simon, who passed on Wednesday of this week. Ashraf Simon was, of course, a community activist, a cultural activist, and he was a political activist. And so on, he served in the Maho Village Council, and he reached the position of chairman of the council for some time. So he put himself at the service of others. They decided that he had to depart, but that's how it is. The great Lord called, and when he called, he won't have to go. So we again extend, on behalf of the Electoral Reform Coalition, and of course, those of us associated with the ERC, our heartfelt sympathy to, as I said, the Simon family in Maho, Jimmet, and of course, the Birmingham family as well. So may his soul rest in peace. And just to say to you all there, we are in the hurricane season, and there's a system in the area, and one has to be careful and be cautious, so that you secure yourself and your property, and listen to the advisory as it comes. And as we get deeper into the season, it will become a little more challenging. So you have to, of course, prepare yourself, listen, as I said, to the various word advisory that will come to you on the various media houses and so forth, and secure yourself, secure your property, and don't leave anything for the last minute. Of course, so everybody take note and recognize that we are in the hurricane season, and it is our responsibility to ensure that we are able to put things in place to secure ourselves, families, and of course, our property. Well, tonight, as I said, is again the fourth night of what we call the Saturday Night Live, the ultimate battle for electoral reform. Today is the 29th day of June, Saturday 29th of June. So June will leave us tomorrow, and on Monday, God's willing, July will usher in. So we are living June. So you can imagine once the year hits halfway, it will go quickly. Yes, on our mission, we are getting some very, very important attention and getting some very good encouragement by persons in Dominica and outside of Dominica, and they recognize what we're doing, what we're saying are of importance. And of course, we have been speaking on this matter for quite some time. Electoral reform has been a household name in Dominica, and of course, even in the Caribbean, because people are saying, what takes so long for Dominica to settle on this matter? So we have been there, and we have spoken, we have explained the various points and the legislation, what is in there, what is missing. We have explained the omission of many of the good recommendations made by Sir Dennis Byron, and before him, the OAS and CARICOM and the Commonwealth, and of course, our own local input by all those groups and organizations, including political parties who have been engaged, civil society with unions and churches and business community. So we have all played our part, and we expect for an amicable resolution in this matter or settlement of this matter so that we can guide our election in a free, fair, and transparent manner. So tonight we're here, and with me, as I said, in studio is Paula Celestin, and I'm looking to see if Kent is there yet, but he's also joined us online. So we have been on the social media, on radio and so forth, explaining to the people of Dominica and the world at large as to our engagement in the electoral reform struggle. So tonight we want you to call, and when you call, we want you to pledge whatever you are able to pledge to assist us to continue our program, and more particularly on the 7th of July, Sunday the 7th of July, we are inviting the people of Dominica to Roseau for what we call a People's Parliament, and that will start about at 3 o'clock, 3 p.m. in the afternoon, the People's Parliament, where we will present to you what we call the people's legislation that we think should go to Parliament for passage to improve on our electoral laws here in Dominica. So we want support to get this going. I mean, these things cost, when you look at the cost for transportation, for publicity, both in terms of social media, radio, well, radio in particular, and then you have to what we call street announcement. It's also a cost. PA system, the public address system, is another cost. Some support in transportation is a cost. And I'm told that we have to probably even get toilets in the area, which will be a cost. So we ask you, we want to carry it live as well. So those of you who are not here in Dominica can see online, can listen on radio, and you need money to do all of this. So this is why we come to you and we ask, and you have been very generous in the past, and we expect you to do the same with these coming activities. And the ERC will continue after the 7th, will continue into ensuring that our voices resonate with the authorities and, of course, the nation, and that we expect some common sense to prevail and some people who have responsibility to recognize that the responsibility is not theirs alone, it is theirs and the rest of the country. So let's say welcome and good night to Paula. Paula, good night.
Good evening to you, Bosso. How are you?
I'm fine.
How has the week been?
Fantastic.
Okay. I too want to say special good evening to the number of persons who have lost their loved ones over the week. My deepest condolences to you all. Good evening to our listeners here in Dominica and overseas. Whatever media you are listening to this evening, I want to say special good evening to you. And like Bosso have said, welcome to yet another electoral reform fundraising here this evening. And we expect this evening that our callers, those persons who have been listening here and overseas, this evening we hope that you will be able to call and make a contribution, because like we said, the 7th of July, which is next week, Sunday, we are expecting to have this People's Parliament in Roseau between the two bridges by the arch. And we are expecting, your support for the persons, like I have said before, put your money where your mouth is. And this is the time that each and every Dominican who believe in fairness, who believe in justice, at this time, they should make a contribution. It doesn't matter even if you have $1, you have $5. Call and contribute. We'll appreciate that. Little is needed. It doesn't matter how much that you decide to contribute. We will appreciate that. So this evening, we are looking forward to a very wonderful program where we will also give information to you as we go along. So while we await your calls this evening, we will interact with you. Yeah. While we await Mr. Kent Vital as well, we are hoping that he will join us. We are asking the listeners to call in, interact with us this evening. You can give us your views as well. But when you call, make it very short So other persons that may want to call this evening, especially to contribute, they can get the opportunity to do that.
Yes. Thank you, Paula. And also, as you heard, she said, tonight our focus is on raising some resources to assist us to defray the expenses that will occur for the activities we're having, and more so the 7th of July, which is the mass meeting in Roseau, which we dub the People's Parliament. So for those of you overseas who want to donate from overseas, you can go to the Nickcliffe website at www.nickcliffe.org. So it's www.nidclf.org, and you can go there and donate, and whatever you donate will assist us. We would appreciate that. I just want to thank those who have already contributed. And last week, some persons contributed, and I want to say to Fraser that we have gotten this contribution. Thank you so much. And of course, there's somebody who had not called last week but came to the studio and made a contribution to the effort. So we want to say thank you in a special way and say how much we appreciate that. And we ask those of you overseas and locally, we know things are tough, but of course, we have to get going. So whatever you can contribute, we would appreciate that so much. So call us tonight, and as Paula said, when you call, please be brief and focus on the point, because tonight we want to do very little talking and more pledging so that we can, in the coming week, put everything in place to execute on the 7th, because you cannot execute on the day itself. You cannot plan on the day itself. You have to plan ahead and execute, implement on the day itself in a very massive and well-organized manner. But to do so, you have to have the upfront support. So tonight, as I said, very little talking, and we call on you to assist us, to assist you, and to assist our country so that our democracy can be preserved. So those of you who are on, we want to thank you so much and say we're glad to have you on.
Dominicans, we need our electoral reform. Tell them, but call the cabinet. Money can just not do it like that. Dominicans spend their money. You should perform your duty. How long before we get our reform? We have some election in the interest of one man. But like Egypt, the people needs freedom. If you cannot deliver, then give us back our dollars. Stay in your lane. We know you know our country loves to spend the money, sir. Stay in your lane. The people frustrated and tired. Dominicans have taken all they can take. Give us reform before the fall house break. People know a full was brigade. May 29 and blood that was shed. So if you don't deliver for what he paid, guy fool was it. Dominican.
Yes, of course, we're here, and we know you are listening, wherever you are. And as we said, we expect your call tonight. And I give the website for those of you overseas, the Nickcliffe website. You go there, www.nickcliffe.org, and you contribute wherever you are able to contribute to the effort. And those of you at home who want to make a contribution, you could come here at the radio station and leave it here with staff downstairs. You can also call me at 276 0387. You can also call Paula.
275-5766.
And there are many others. You will reach Kent, and you can contribute as well. And to Nurse Rosie Felix, Washburn Coffee, Ronald Charles, So. All those who are engaged, you can meet and contribute. Also, a good person that you can also make your donation to on our behalf is Blue Blue. You can always do that to Blue Blue, and we'll get it as soon as you give it to her. And those of you who want to go to the URP office, you can also go there, and when it's open during the week, and you can also make your contribution, and you can say this is for the effort on the 7th of July. Of course, we have spoken a lot, and some people say, oh, we talk a lot, and so on. And therefore, we want to start to move and get things concretized going forward, and we need your support every step of the way. So call us. The numbers here are 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097, and call us and make your contribution pledged. We'll take your number. If you care to give your name, we'll take it as well. And as I said, we will make the arrangement so we can have what you pledged in paid to us. And those of you overseas, I know you have sent before on names of persons through Western Union and MoneyGram. You can do so. So you can call me or Paula and any other member of the ERC and make arrangement to send on their name. Okay, so we're here tonight, and we know it's a rough night because when I came in here, it was raining heavily, and I saw people are rushing around at the grocery stores trying to get some stuff. So that's coming up here. I stepped in one area and I saw a number of persons in there. So just be careful. The road is wet, so when you're driving, drive carefully and ensure that you're safe in moving around. And as I said, ensure that your family, yourself, your family, and property are secured. And as we get deeper into the hurricane season, you have to take the necessary precautionary measures to ensure that you and your family are safe, and then you can protect your property. And so don't wait the last minute to do those things when everything is on you heavily. And please listen to the various media houses to get the advisory on the weather. We'll give you, I know you like this song,
Hello.
so.
Hello.
In the year 1493, Christopher Columbus came. He saw a huge mass of land. It was green, so high and untamed. It was Sunday, a lovely day, and blue as the sea and sky. We'll name this new land Dominica, after all Lord's daily pride. No need poetry, no need shinking back for some support. Mene come to risule, mene pilaja. In Bapite yo kwada mikodu. Bapite yo kwada mikodu. At first, carrots were not friendly. They chased strangers away. For a long time this land was theirs, for no one else wanted to stay. But now today we can be free, and the land belongs to all. We'll make all land a happy tree, land all will be welcome to all. When the British heard of this place, they came to settle him. They brought Africans to our soil. The Caribs were to stay within. French people got to know the land, so they came with a mind and will. Though the British want back the land, the French country's here with us still. Yes, after you we live on in the sun, the wind and rain, French, Carib, African, British. We are unique, oh yes, my friend. Now we are on our own at last. No one else will push us wrong. We are going to be a great nation for children of bright and strong. No need tell and no need for real. No need think the back of something. Ele come to risule from any pillager. Happy to your part of me for you. Happy to your part of me for you. No need tell and no need for real. No need think the back of something. Ele come to risule from any pillager. Happy to your part of me for you. 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 Happy to
Power rules the world today. Power corrupts, they say. And absolute power corrupts you.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Calling to make a donation.
Yes, thanks.
$100.
$100. Yes.
225
1 second, let me just take this number there. 225
55
55
65.
65.
Yeah.
$100.
You good, Bosso?
Yes. Oh, I know who it is now. Thank you. how are you?
Yeah, not too bad, really.
Yes. I asked about you the other day. I was told you were spending some time in Jimmet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Last week before.
Yes. So
Okay.
so thanks a lot then.
Yeah, my son will bring that in, man.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate
All
that.
right, thank
Yes,
you.
good.
Thanks.
Okay, so we have a caller who called and make a pledge, $100, and that caller always pledge, and you get the pledge all the time. So thank you so much to him, and of course, we want others to follow and to call us and make your pledge. Yes, we're having some challenges, so we're trying to get Kent on, so it's just work it out, okay?
In this land, I tell you, they don't give one down. The more we try to economize, the more cost of living rise. When they have power and authority, they don't give a damn about nobody. They prostituting the island, milking the land dry. They're making my people starve, exploiting, oppressing, less freedom, more suffering. This thing just can't go on. Take it over, my friend. Take it over, carefully again. Take it over, dance with me, shorty. Take it over, I'm singing as I sing. Work we can even find. Life seems a waste of time. Nothing to do but sit around the corner line. So frustrated, some would rather starve than beg. Others turn to crime and steal what they can get. And the judges have no sympathy, they're hammering everyone that they catch. Even little children are.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Boso.
How are you?
Boso, I called to just stay for a half a minute to encourage Dominicans, especially those of us in the diaspora that cannot stand up with our feet on our boots on the ground. As you said, they have done a lot before. They have done well. But it is my duty as a Dominican to call to encourage Boso. I know how to respond, and I want to plead. I want to beg people who are under the sound of my voice to please pledge. Our democracy is at stake. And I know things are difficult, but even if you are hurting, the best time to give is when you are hurting. Give tonight. Last week, it did not go well, but tonight, give as little as it is. God will bless you. Do it for a good purpose. Give tonight, and you will be blessed. Okay, boss.
Thank you so much, and I did express our appreciation to you. We receive your pledge. We received it early in the week, so thank you so much. And of course, we appreciate your input here to encourage persons at home and abroad to get involved and pledge. I mean, we do not have monies from passport or from those areas, so therefore, those of us who are engaged there, we're putting our own input in there. We are doing our own thing to help the situation because it takes a lot to move around and to engage. And therefore, we would like those of you who recognize what we're doing and appreciate the importance of it to come forward and assist us, small as it may be, and so on. So as I mentioned early on, there are expenses because you have to have the public address system and you have to have live coverage bid for, you have to have some support in transportation to persons who you want to bring in there. You also have to have, as I said, publicity, promotion, both radio and elsewhere, and even what we call street announcement. Somebody with a vehicle going around, this is also very important. So it will cost some money to do those things, and therefore we want at the end of the exercise that we are able to pay all those we engaged. And as I said earlier on, we got your support for the event at the PSU, and that went well, and we were able to clear off the debts. And we did came back and say thank you and explain to you what went on, how the monies were used. Also, Granby, we also got some support there as well. And we did the same thing in expressing our appreciation and thanks and to tell you how things went and what was paid for. Those of you who too can assist in probably sponsoring a bus, we would appreciate that. You can arrange in your community with your community persons, your activists who are involved, and to see that you can sponsor a bus or two to go to the event. That would be appreciated. So you may want to pay the bus directly yourself, but just work with somebody in the area that you know who are involved and that you can make that arrangement with them. Kind of a system can flow quite nicely. Of course, as we said, we're here, and tonight we're not doing too much talking because you know about the issue, and you know about the issue tonight, all before tonight. Therefore, no need to rehash whatever has been said. So we have Ken with us now, and let us say welcome to him and glad to have him on. And he have been making the rounds, and I think he was fantastic last night on another radio station. And I got some very positive feedback from that program. It was himself, Mr. George, Nicholas George, that is, and Loftus Durand. And they did an excellent job in explaining and motivating on the issue. So, Ken, good night and welcome.
Yes, good night.
Well, before I take it, let me just take a call.
Yes, go ahead.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, and how are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. Listen, I am going to pledge $100. My name is Command Sergeant Major Alcindor, retired U.S. Army.
Yes.
I will have that process through Nitcliffe,
Okay.
and it will be all right. I wish you well.
Yes.
I am for democracy, and I am ready for change. So I will pitch, as I say, $100.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Thank you.
Take care of yourself. God
Good.
bless.
Thanks a lot. Yes.
You're welcome.
Good. Okay, so $100 and $100 US, yes, and he will go through the Nitcliffe account. It usually come to us safe and sound. Yes, Kent.
Yes, thanks again, and good night to everyone. Good night to Paula.
Good evening, Ken.
Yes, thanks. Okay, so we continue to call on this regime, the current regime, to do the right thing. And sometimes we have to ask, what must we do for good sense to prevail? But this is why tonight we come to call on everyone. Come and let us make a real big statement on July 7th. And afterwards, as things unfold, we will need to do other things and we need financing. But the national rally is the next big thing, and we must use it to make a very big statement. Because up to this juncture, this government has not been listening to good sense. The regime has not been willing to do what is just and fair. So we need to speak so loud, and let's do that on the 7th, so loud that the regime must listen. Very, very, very loud. That's why we want everybody to come down, and that's why we need everybody's support. Because a few people must not be allowed to destroy our country. And the righteous ones, those must pray, but we also want everyone to speak up. Our silence hurts sometimes. So let's all make a statement. Let's all make that big statement by our presence on the 7th. So I'm just happy to be a part of this, and we just have to pray and hold each other up as we try everything we can to save our nation. Yeah.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you so much. And I just said earlier on, if you have been making the rounds, good rounds, explaining and so forth. Sometimes some people feel, well, we explain too much, we talk too much, but we have to ensure that we do the right thing.
Indeed.
And we advise properly, because the world is watching us, and we've gotten feedback that they say it is us, but have to take the responsible move to ensure the right things are done, and therefore they will add their voices once they see the people themselves are interested in their affairs. And we always say you are not a spectator in this, you are a participant, and therefore you cannot be watching and ask, what are they doing? You have to say, let us do something. But at the end of the day, it is ours, our country. Party will come, party will go, but the country remains. And the more we can make it a prosperous, well-governed, well-managed country, it is in the interest of every citizen to want that. And what we're talking about common sense approaches to governance. We're talking about reform, and so we can close the loopholes that have been exploited. And we are not saying exploited by this incumbent. We're saying that would be there to be exploited by any incumbent government for their own selfish reasons.
Yes.
And therefore we cannot now, if you like, legislate. Let's take this call. As soon as the calls are coming, we'll take them. So
right.
We can. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, boss. How are you?
I'm fine. And how you doing?
Not too bad. Nicholas Andrew.
Nicholas
Yeah,
Andrew.
yeah. Good program. I think everybody should chip in, because we definitely need electoral reform. If we don't get that, we lose our country. Anyway, I'm pledging $50.
Yeah, sure.
But we would like to. Sometimes we pledge in the personal area, and the money is not collected. It would be good to have a person in the personal area to collect that money. Somebody you select. Collect money from the people involved, because sometimes it's difficult for somebody to come up to us and
Yes, I
bring the
agree.
money,
I agree.
and then it can be delivered to you. So select somebody and make it official. So anybody who has that money can go to the person in Portsmouth, and
Yeah.
that one person can do that.
You making a point?
Mr. Nichols,
Yes,
if you give us your number,
yes.
I can make contact with you when I'm coming that way and pick it up.
Okay, all right. Well, my number is 235
Mm-hmm.
3938.
3938.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
And
thank
and,
you,
and,
Mr.
and while we have them, Mr. Andrew,
Yes.
I mean, you're a man who have been what we consider a community activist who have always been at the service of the people of the town of Portsmouth. And therefore, you'd be a good contact point to assist us in, collecting. So persons who may not even want to call can come to you, and probably whatever they are able to pledge, they can give it to you. As you rightly said, somebody may not want to come to Roseau for that particular purpose, but if there's somebody in the area, they can say, "I pledge
I'm all right with
$10."
that.
Okay, great.
I'm all right with that. I mean, most everybody knows me.
Yes.
You just, make it official.
Hmm.
That if anybody wants to, pledge, they can give me the money. I take their name and number, and then hand it over to you. And what you might most probably have to do is just to call them back and say, well, we have received the money X, Y, Z.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay. Well,
yes.
no problem. You can do that. You can use me. No problem.
Yeah, we appreciate that very much. And
Okay.
I mean, we have made some progress there.
All right. All the best.
Paula, you want to say something? Paula, want to say something?
Nothing thing with him. Nothing thing with him.
Oh,
Just someone made a contribution here.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Nichols. Yes. Gary Williams in Alaska. Yeah, Gary Williams in Alaska is pledging $100 US. He said he will get it to me. And Anthony Joseph in St. Croix is pledging $100 EC. He said he will get it to me as well. Anthony is from Laplin. So thank you, Anthony Joseph, and thank you, Gary Williams in Alaska.
yes. So Gary
Yes.
Williams and Anthony Joseph, thank you so much. And of course, Mr. Nicolanjo, we want to thank you. And we want to just make it official tonight that you are our rep in the area. So as you have agreed to collect on our behalf, and as you have said, you will take names and numbers, and then you will transfer, and then we ourselves will call the people and say, yes, we have received. I like that. But can that take me a while?
Also, man, I love this. I love this. Everybody's beginning to pitch in and do their part, and that is the spirit we want.
Yes, for sure. Sure.
And the we have to also reach out to the rest of the region, and we are reaching out to them. And those we have reached out to so far, they understand what's going on in Dominica, and they want to help. But of course, we have to also put ourselves out. I had a very interesting discussion sometime
Yes.
last week.
Can,
And
can,
Pick up Pinken. Pick up Pinken.
I'll come back to you. I will call her. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Pastor. How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
Yeah, I'm good. All right. Paula?
Yes, good evening.
Mr. Ken? Good evening. How are you guys doing?
We're
Doing okay.
We're doing fine. We're doing fine.
Yeah. This is Dr. Thomas.
Doctor
Thomas here.
Dr. Thomas, how are you?
Yeah. I'm good.
Oh, TC?
I'm holding on. Yes.
TC, good evening. How are you? I didn't recognize the voice, man. How you doing?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I just, this has been a long struggle. This electoral reform process has been a very long struggle. And sometimes supporters, people who are interested in seeing democracy rule, they may get frustrated along the way. But I just want to call and just let them know that this is not a time to back off or to get frustrated, because this is the time when we need to go full throttle to get real electoral reform. And as you said earlier, Bosso, this there's no outside entity that's going to come in to do this for us. We in Dominica have to really show that we are serious about getting electoral reform. And if we expect people to come and do it for us, it's not going to happen. Staying home and praying is not going to happen. Yes, we need prayers in the process, but volume is what's going to make a difference. We need to have people showing up in large numbers. People who have dictatorial attitude and tendencies, they are afraid of large crowds. And crowds, then they get a little nervous, sometimes very nervous. So we need to make an effort to be out there. Don't get frustrated by the length of this process. It's been going on for a while. But the goal is a noble one. It's one that we need if we want to see democracy maintained in this country of Dominica. We have to give it our all. We have to make sure that we show up, that we hear, that we support, because this is important. And we cannot have one group of people who have decided that they're going to run the country forever and ever, amen, and that they will do whatever it takes to run the country forever and ever, amen.
Yes.
What we need is solid legislation that's going to be put in place so that whoever chooses to run this country, whoever chooses to be in governance, will have a level playing field and will be able to know that if they put their foot forward, that there's a chance that they too can serve the community and serve the country. So that's why this is important, and we have to make sure that all of us participate in the process. I will make a contribution, and I'll talk to Paula about it, and she'll think she knows where to pick it up.
Great.
And I'll leave it open. And Paula, you know how to get to me, so that's not a problem.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Thomas.
All right.
Okay.
So good work, gentlemen and ladies.
Okay.
Thank you very
God
much.
bless.
And we appreciate your comments and of course your contribution. But I just want in with what he said, I just want to read you a few quotes there that said, you must never be fearful about what you are doing when it is right. And that is Rosa Parks.
That's right.
So you must never be fearful about what you are doing when it is right.
That's right.
And then somebody sent me another thing that say, never lose hope. Just when you think it's over, God sends a miracle. Of course. So never lose hope. When you think, just when you think it is over, God sends you a miracle. So of course, so we should never lose hope on our country. You should never lose hope on first of all, never lose hope on your parents, on your children, on your family and relatives, on your people and on your country. And once you stand for what is right, some may not initially appreciate it, but sometimes they'll say, but you know something, I was wrong, and they were right. So always be on the right side.
And also when they are on the other side, they will appreciate what was done.
That's right. And so
because this is not for one set, this is for everybody. You're not always going to be in governance. One time you'll be in a position, and when you're in a position, you too will want a level playing field. Because that's why this is important.
Yes, I'll give you a quick example. We have a call coming in. Let's see what happened there. Yes, let's take this call. Hello, good evening.
Yes, I just want to call again. Come and call us. Keep calling. God love a cheerful giver. Keep calling. This call is not for you. It's not even for me. This call is for our children's children. So be encouraged. Keep calling. Keep calling. God will bless you, man. Do that, and you will see. You will sow what you reap. Continue calling callers.
Yes. Thank you so much. And we want to again encourage our Dominicans abroad. And we're not mixing matters. We're a country of law and order. And the custodian of the affairs of the state, which is the government, we want to respect the government. We want to support the government. We want to work with the government for the good of the country. And this is why we are asking for the right things to be done. Okay? We want to ensure at the end of the day, our country is in a good place. Government now will have the rules and the laws that are necessary to govern, and future government will have the same rules and laws and regulations to govern in the interest of citizens. And that's why we are uniting, we're encouraging, we're educating on the important matters, because we have been talking electoral reform for a while now, and we're saying the time has come for us to put everything in place and settle down on it in a very amicable way that all of us can be happy. Our parliament can go there, debate the right laws and pass the right laws, and all of us can applaud our parliament. All of us can uplift our parliament, because you don't have to agree with people in their politics to applaud them when they do something right, okay? You don't have to be in their party or agree with their politics to applaud them when they do something right, and so on. Also, if you're in your party and something is going wrong that is not in the interest of the country, as a collective, then you have a right to guide and encourage and to say, this is not good, let's change course. Because at the end of the day, what we will all end up into is chaos, and you want to avoid chaos. So, of course, call us and make your contribution as small as it is. We will appreciate. And those of you overseas, go to the Nickcliffe website, and you can donate there. It's www.nickcliffe.org. Okay, so www.nidclf.org, and you contribute there. And as I said, we always receive these monies and we put it to the use that it came to us for. So on the 7th of July, which is Sunday of next Sunday, not tomorrow, next Sunday, we are inviting Dominicans from all walks of life to come into Roseau, where we could stand there and we could discuss in a holistic manner the regulations, its importance to us as a country, as a nation, and what we think is recommended to go before Parliament. And we can all discuss that there. You will hear, we will have it carried live and so forth. And we can present this to the government as the people's legislation to go before Parliament and so forth. There's a saying, l'esprit pakawiti and sell tête. In that case, we make our contribution, but we're not just talking, because some people talk, and nothing is there. We are talking and we're delivering. We took the legislation, we had a workshop at the UWI Open Center, and we had a lawyer with us, and we went through, and we saw, based on what we recommended, long before, to the government and the Electoral Commission, and we compare what we think and what they did, and we saw right there the areas that were not well put together and the areas that were omitted, and we then put the language, we put the points together, and we'll have it in legal form to present as the people's legislation for electoral reform. So again, www.nickcliffe.org, and those of you here in Dominica can come here to Q and make a contribution. In fact, last week, somebody did not call, but they came up the step of Q and they made a contribution there to the effort. And we want to say again, thank them in a special way. We appreciate that. Because sometimes you may not call, but not because you did not call that you should not make a contribution to that worthy cause. And of course, I'll tell you, the other persons who made contribution that did not call last week, but they made contribution to the effort as well, and so on. Because some people may not like to be on the air, but they meet you and they say, that's my contribution.
That's a fact, boss. Some people don't like the publicity, so it's like they rather, just stay quiet. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. In fact, we had planned to do our meeting tomorrow, Paul, remember? But because the Cancer Association had
Yes.
some events,
Yes, Bosso.
we felt that we should push to the 7th.
Yes.
So we give them the 30th as a free day with no distraction to do the thing, because we too are very much concerned of the
High
kind
rising cancer here.
the high risk cancer and the havoc it is causing the family and so forth and the country, and therefore awareness and attention will be brought to it, and the necessary support must be given. So we shift to the 7th. Yes, Kent, I know you're there. And you were making a point earlier on when I interrupted you for a call. So as the call comes in, we will take it because we need the assistance. So Kent, you were making a point earlier on.
Yeah, I was muted. Sorry about that. Yes, I just wanted to reiterate the point that we have to use the 7th to make a very, very big statement by our presence. It's very important for everybody to show up. Come, show up, everyone. Let's speak loud and clear. We'll present what ought to be in the legislation, what is fair and what is just. But our presence will be very, very important. Because beyond that, we will also going to be speaking loud and clear in the region as well. We have already, ERC has already sent out copied letters to all the prime ministers and to other organizations. ERC have already done that. We have gotten some acknowledgements, some responses, and others of us have been reaching out to the region. You know, I had the opportunity just this week, this week, to speak to some regional folks, and they are amazed at how well, amazed is not the right word, but they are quite stunned about what's going on in Dominica, because they haven't known, many of them don't know what's going on. So we are now beginning to reach out because we want that solidarity. We want the region to understand what is going on in Dominica. So we'll be reaching out, but we have to make our statements very, very loud and clear so the region will see that we are making a very big statement. The region must see that. And is the hope that the other prime ministers will bring reason to this guy. But we have to make our statement. We have to make a statement so big that not only will the government, the regime here hear us loud and sound, the rest of the region must also hear us, and they in turn must say to him, put sense in your head, do this thing right, don't do the wrong thing. So I want to encourage us, let's play our part, because when we play a part, others will see that we are playing our part. So let's make this one of the big steps, the 7th. And of course, we hope after the 7th, when he have seen what the people want, when he have seen, when the few persons who are putting our country in a difficult space, when they have seen what the people want, when we have spoken loud and clear, they will relent. They will turn away from what they are conspiring to do, to choke democracy, to make legal their unfair ways of winning. We cannot, as a people, allow that to happen. Because if we allow that to happen, where will we be going? How far will we go? If we allow that kind of thing to happen, where they will always win elections because they have codified in the laws the unfair way of winning, have you imagined what kind of country we can become? We'll become in a dictatorship. I mean, what else will happen after that? We don't even want to think of it, because we have seen what can happen in other countries, but we have also seen the little snippets of what these guys are willing to do. Don't forget what happened in Salisbury in the middle of the night. So we have to speak very, 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 very loud and clear. And we have to reach out to the region. We are doing that. We're beginning to do that. And the pressure will be brought, but it has to be from us first and foremost, but we are also reaching out to the region. So let's not lose hope. Let's fight. This is maybe the last dash, but let us fight real hard. This is what must be our loudest ever. We have always been speaking. For a long time now, we have been speaking. For years now. The past 2 free elections, we have been assisted. Well, not assisted because they were not helping us, but the voices of the OAS was heard through the observers, the OAS, the CARICOM, their voices were heard. Voices of neutral persons, the CCJ, even Byron, their own commissioner that they hired, and they said when Byron would have made his thing, when he first announced it, he hoped all of us would take it. Well, Byron has made his stuff, and we were willing to look at something fair, and he is the one who is rejecting it. You know, people, this is the last straw. We have to say no. We have to speak very, very, very loud. So let those calls flow. Let these contributions come, and we have to support this. And you know, and I always remember the last time when we were raising funds, somebody said, and I appreciated that person who said, you know something, we are supporting. We'll go to find the money, but we'll support, because it was freedom. We are trying to secure the freedom for our children, as one caller said, of our future, or the future generations. We have to do right by them, and we have to do right in our own consciences. We have to do right what is right. You know, what we believe is fair and just and right before God. We have to do that. We are a nation that claim to be a Christian nation. It's embedded in our constitution through allegiance to God. So let's do the right thing. Yep.
Dominicans, we need our electoral reform. Tell them, but call the cabinet. Money can just go to it like that. Dominicans, spend your money. You should perform your duty. How long before we get our reform? We have some election in the interest of one man. But like Egypt, the people need freedom. If you cannot deliver, then give us back our dollars. Stay in your lane. We know you know our country loves to spend the money, sir. Stay in your lane. The people frustrated and tired. Dominicans have taken all they can take. Give us reform before the fall house break. People know a pool was frigate. May 29 and blood that was shed. So if you don't deliver for what he said, that pool was it.
Yes, the numbers here 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097. And of course, for those of you overseas, it's 305-432-9624. So again, 449-3045 and 449-3096, 449-3097. And of course, overseas, 305-432-9624. So we're here. We expect your support. Let's take this caller. Hello, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening to you.
Yeah, again, I really want to thank you guys for coming out there to give a sense of hope to the people of Dominica that's really losing hope right now. I'm trying to, I'll say it again tonight. I'm sending a special appeal to the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force to tell them, please, allow the people of Dominica on July 7th and moving forward to do what it takes to get Dominica back on the right track. Because you have one man, you have a lunatic that passing as prime minister, showing off on them for years saying he have insurance. Kisazoni, Zopani insurance. If all the children fall sick, all the children have to just stay there, go in the hospital and die. But I can fly Dimitri to top class health facility in Miami, etc., etc. Or you don't have nothing. And with this man need to get off his high horse. And in order for us to do that, they need to have free and fair election. We know anytime there is free and fair election in Dominica. I'm from St. Joseph, and I can tell you, roads on the ground, the Labour Party is in deep, deep, deep trouble. I mean, one of their main men and I, we were having a cordial conversation, and they know that St. Joseph is gone. The only way that these criminals can thief St. Joseph is if the people of Dominica allow them to fly in these 300 to 400 people into Dominica for an election. That's the only way they can win. Other than that, St. Joseph will be gone. So please, officers, allow the people of Dominica to do what they have to do to get this lunatic out of office. It is enough. I mean, the world is laughing Dominica. We see where World Cup cricket came to the Caribbean, Dominica was starting to benefit from that. We saw St. Vincent, St. Lucia, all the other islands benefit big time.
Yes,
because of a lunatic we have passing as government, we lost that opportunity. So officers, allow the people of Dominica to do what they have to do. Take care now.
Thank you so much, caller. Yes, again, www.nickcliffe.org. You can go there, those of you overseas, and make your contribution to our efforts here in Dominica. And I made a point earlier on, though, we're getting some very encouraging views from outside of Dominica. And because, as Kent mentioned earlier on, we have sent quite a number of letters out there in the region and internationally, and we have, presented a dossier of the struggle we've been in, and of course, the reform. And some of the very important people can understand how the Prime Minister and his government would hire first of all, Mayor Motley, who is Prime Minister of Barbados now. Let's take this caller. Hello, good evening.
Good night, Paula. Good night, Boston. Good night, Ken.
Good night to you, my dear. How are you?
Thanks. I'm great.
Yes.
Thanks for holding the fort tonight.
Yes, we have to.
Yes. I'm just calling to encourage the people, the Dominicans, to, according to Paula, when you all started, put your money where your mouth is. I know, sometimes people are embarrassed to call. If they cannot give $100, they feel embarrassed to call and give $10 also. But I'm encouraging 1,000 people to give $10 tonight. Do the math, how much that would be? If 1,000 people give us $10 each, 10,000.
Yes, that's 10,000.
Right?
Yes.
So that, or 1,000 people give us $1 each. That's $1,000. And what if 1,000 people give us $5? So people don't be embarrassed. What you have, the two party vole pubali. That's okay. If it's one you can give the one. If it's 5 you can give the 5. If it's 10 you can give 10. Don't worry. Who can give 100? Give us 100. Who can give us 1,000? Give us 1,000. Once it's your money, it's your own money, it will still it. And little is much when God is in it, when your whole heart is in it. So people, this is home stretch. We got to do it. And let me tell all you, it is a scared man where you see he's there. Bullies are scared people. So let us come out. All of us can't be afraid of a man that's well afraid of us. Good night to you all.
Thank you, Rosie. Thank you, Nurse Felix. We appreciate that so much. And she, as she rightly said, I mean, small as it is, you give when you put it together. It's a good amount. $1, 1,000 persons, $1,000. 1,000 persons, $5 is $5,000, and $10 for 1,000 persons is $10,000, and that would take us a long way to having a massive, event on the 7th, and so on. So your support, your contribution is needed, and we're not asking you for the pie in the sky. We're asking you for a little that you can contribute. That would help, and would appreciate that so much, and so on. I may have called Tony is Tony Caesar, and I said Tony Kaiser. So if I say Tony Caesar, not Kaiser. So Tony, Caesar, thank you again, and we appreciate your pledge last week, and the pledge came in early this week, and I received it. So thank you a great deal, and so on. Yes. So
Yeah.
as I said, the lines are open. So feel free to call and contribute. I want to make an appeal to those overseas who are very much concerned about the situation down here in Dominica. To what you're doing is to put the wrong right, okay? And they try to confuse you and say we don't want Dominicans being abroad to vote. If you live abroad, you operate abroad, you work abroad, you raise your children abroad, and so forth. I mean, voting for you here just to prop up somebody is not, it should not be your interest. Just to prop up somebody. Your interest should be to ensure our country works well. You can, whatever resources you have, you can come here and you can discuss with government, with private sector, and see how you could invest, make your monies available to us here locally, and you get your interest on it, so we can have that partnership. I see a call coming in there. Let's take this call. Hello, good evening.
Hi, Bosu, good evening to you, and how you doing, my brother?
Oh, I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine.
Okay, Paula, good evening to you as well. The question is for Paula. Paula, will you be at the airport tomorrow afternoon? I'm coming from the American airline. Will you be there?
I will not be, but if you want me to pick you up, then that would be fine. It's no problem with that.
No, I have a rental already waiting on me.
Okay, okay, all right.
Okay, all right. About you with the song, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, all right. Then I'll look for you. Or Bosu or somebody.
Yes.
Or is it Leno?
Okay.
Or Mr. Linton.
Yes.
Yes. And
Right?
so on. I'm not sure of the person, but Paula would know.
I'm trying to pick up the
Okay.
voice.
All right, then, no problem.
Yeah, sure.
I'm trying to pick up the voice. I'm trying to recognize.
No, I know you can do that. Just work on me technically.
Okay, then great.
Okay.
I was driving the coast to the wheelchair bus.
Okay.
You know.
All right, you got.
Okay. All right.
She got you now.
All right.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you every day.
Okay.
I see Paula is a real good businesswoman. That's good.
Yes, great.
But also, I would like to make out a call to a special group of people. You know, I have some friends, and the police are very, very important to us. Yeah, very important. They have a very, very important role to play in our country, and we appreciate them, and we appreciate that.
We have a call, person?
No.
Yeah. So, but they too are part of us. Their children will be affected by what's going on. They will be affected by what's going on. So they too must make a statement. So I would want to call on all the policemen. If you are not on duty that night, I want you to come down on the 7th. You have to make a very loud statement by your presence. Come down in your plain clothes. Come down and join as many of you as possible. You know, there comes a time when we must decide, you know something, I'm going to speak no matter what. I'm going to do the right thing no matter. I try always to decide to do that in my life. But I'm encouraging all of us. It's no longer time for us to be afraid of victimization, because that fear is going not to be as terrible as what will happen if we allow dictatorship to reign in our country.
I know.
So we have to put our fear aside. And the policemen, I want you to come down in a large numbers. Tag us when you see us, when you come down on the 7th. Let's know that you're there. Not just the policemen, of course, but we want everyone to come. We want the nurses, come and make your statement. The teachers, come and make your statement. Those from the public service, those in the public service other than those I have called, come and make your statement. Those from the port, come and make your statement. Let's make a huge statement, but I want to make that special call to the policemen, because you are important to Dominica. You are very important, but you have a voice as well. If the country is not run well, you will be affected too.
So you need to also make your statement by coming down on the 7th. It's a rally of unity. Whether you're a labor right, whether you're a freedom right, whether you're a UWP right, whether you're a police, whether you're a port worker, whether you're a farmer, farmers come and make your statements. All of us, let's come and make huge statements, a very huge statement together on the 7th.
Yes, and Kent, as you made that point, we were on a social media platform, and somebody asked a question there as to the person says that there is a lot of fear in the country, which were not there 20 years or so ago. And they were asking, how are we going to eradicate that fear? And remember, in the answer we gave to the person who asked that question, and those who were listening, we said that yes, there is a fear, and I remember before people were free to support their party, but still have that camaraderie and that collaboration with others, because we are one country, one people, and we've always known ourselves to support in different political groups or parties, we call them, and we still exist as brothers and sisters. And that have gone, and we said we have to encourage that persons in the various workplaces, more so in the public sector, and in government institutions, that these persons are promoted by merit, not by who they support or what they support, by merit. And persons would focus on their work and delivery of what they have assigned to deliver for the nation, and not on the bring go for the politician. And we said that they have to be the freedom to disagree and to agree. Because I mean, I was reading a story where there was a gentleman who asked a guy a question, and the other guy said to him, but Bush, you have said anything already? No, what you say, I agree. So he said, so after several times asking him the question, and he said the same thing, he said, for once in your life, disagree with me, so the others can know that there are two people there. Because all the you agree with me, I feel as if I'm the only person around. You're not there. You don't exist. So disagree with me, so that the others will know it's towards that is there. And most of the things I say to you, I just make it up just to hear what you will say, and so on. So we should not be in that position, right? So the point you made there about person showing up, I just want to tie it up with, you remember when the whole CBI thing was going around and everybody was whining and dining, having a good time? I remember the late Michael Douglas would say, you fly like a flying saucer, but where is the beef? I remember that. Where is the beef? And so on. So they flied and they enjoy wine and dine. I remember is when the opposition came out with the whole question of the money missing. That's the time they rushed now and started to build houses. Remember that? So people were not getting anything. It was a select few that was enjoying CBI. Like they behave like they plant Dashin and Potato and Figan, that they repeat and sell, and they can do as they please, how they want, get involved in crooked deals and walk away with millions of dollars. And when the declaration was made about the missing money, that's the time they rushed to build houses. So those who are in houses must say thank you to people like Lennox Linton and the opposition and so on, who make the declaration and force their hands. So we have to force their hands to get what is right for the country. And forcing their hands is not going into trouble with them, but standing up and show them that our numbers, our presence, our unity is, of course, sufficient to say that we disagree. And some of the encouragement we're getting from outside, people are saying, yes, we can raise a voice, yes, we can give some support, but your people themselves have to show that they understand what the struggle is and play their part. And most of the persons have agreed with what we have presented and the law and the way in which we think the reform changes should take place. And more so when they read Sir Dennis Barron report, when they read the other reports that have been there, and they're saying why the government is hiring people, paying taxpayers' money to them, and when they report, the same person that pay them disagree with what they recommend and throw it aside. It's like you give a man to plant bananas for you, you pay him, and when it's about to bear, you go and you cut them down. You cut them down, you reject them, and so forth. That's the kind of behavior we're seeing. So, of course, call us and make your pledge. Go to Nick Cliff account and put a pledge there, www.nickcliff.org. And as we said earlier on, I give my number, which is 2760387. You can call me there and we can arrange there. You can call Paula and
275-5766.
And Ken Vital
265-9450.
Yes, and the other persons, Nurse Felix, she spoke a while ago. She's one of the strong women involved in the effort. And you know, what I love about Nurse Felix, she don't put, she don't speak in Jalbute. And she stands for what she believes and she as is. And we need strong people like that to be involved in our governance, in our activities, and of course in the life of guiding our people forward, because you can't go backward, you have to go forward. And of course you cannot be kicked around the place and say nothing for yourself. You must have your own defense. So on the 7th of July, we are inviting the country to Roseau, where we would meet People's Parliament, and we will of course discuss the real legislation. And what is key about that is campaign finance reform. Why are you so afraid of campaign finance reform? All of a sudden, campaign finance reform become like holy water to the devil. So holy water to the devil. So once they see the word campaign finance reform, they try to confuse people with it at the consultation that they had, and then they dump it aside. It's not we who put that there, you know. It's Dennis Barron, and I think it's reason, because one group of persons cannot have incumbent resources and all kind of other resources and spend millions of dollars for a campaign when others don't have. And one may tell you, well, get your own money, but of course there is what you call dirty money out there, you know. There is blood money out there, and if you get involved in blood money, you know what will happen. And while I'm there quickly, I just want to make reference on Jamaica. You remember Jamaica used to have some very, very rough politics, very rough. And the two main leaders, Michael Manley and Edward Siaga, they were not even speaking. It is Bob Marley who brought them together to concert in Jamaica, brought them together and so forth. And that way they shook hands and they start speaking. And Jamaican felt we have to do better than that, because our young people coming up cannot see our leaders, our politicians in that kind of situation. And now they have one of the best campaign finance laws in the region. And of course, we're in contact with them. We have a copy of it. We discussed it at the meeting we had last Tuesday with civil society and other persons there. And we will make copies available. We are making copies available to those who want it. It's a very fantastic piece of legislation. And both the government and the opposition in Jamaica, yes, they still have their quarrel, the political quarrel, the partisan quarrel, but when it comes to the nation business, that's where they fall in line, and that's important, and so on. So, of course, call us and contribute. I just want to give you a little of, I show you need some money there, right?
Greetings, Mr. Abdullah. Salam alaikum. I'm singing to make you aware. Things are bad at home. The local treasury down here is empty, and you in charge of our treasury overseas. Over 6 billion and counting. And we the people down here strutting. Never in our life before, in our Dominica, all our wealth offshore, and our people so poor. We facing a crisis here, so I bypassing media, we suspect you don't like him anymore. Bring money, Mr. Abdullah, bring money. Everybody broke down here, bring money. A billion or two or three, bring money. From our church we oversee, bring money. The man never see come see, waste all the country money, buying election and building mansion. Now we going after credit union. You see, we want to save for people money. Diddy die, die, die. Diddy die, die, die. I got you. I got you. It's up to you, Mr. Abdullah. Salam alaikum. Corruption of citizens falling. Electoral reform. Government owing everybody. And if the workers can get their salary, nobody for passport printing. Businessmen in the country falling. No history, Arab and black slavery. There's an opportunity to win with diplomacy. You front load money before, come front load a little more. 6 million of I for it. Oh. Bring money, Mr. Abdullah, bring money. Everybody broke down now, bring money. A billion or two or three, bring money. From our church we oversee, bring money. The man never see come see, waste all the country money. Fighting opposition and buying loyalty. We borrowing from social security, you see. We want to pull a pension money. Give it to them. It's the story of your car. Kick Bob, reporting for duty.
Because God is so silent, man taking full advantage. So now and then examples are sent to emphasize this message. As a man sow shall he reap, whether or not he believes in it. Nobody can protect you when karma comes back to get you. All man finds to do is wrong, abuse his power, his position, until his karma comes around. Big man like Adam, like Satan, Chavez and Gaddafi, just be begging for mercy, hey, crying like a baby. So all those who think they have come and come, any minute, any hour, come coming. When you want to crush a position, come coming. Today you up, tomorrow you don't come coming. Come come to me, and for one poor man, it's a natural justice thing. No one is exempt. So when a prime minister becomes a kidnapper, then one day he travel and you hear him missing. Guess what?
Yes, the examples are there in the region and in the world, and people have the power to make the difference, for change, to select what is right for themselves, for their country, look at the future. And of course, we, in Dominica, we are asking for the same opportunity as well. And of course, we exist as a nation And we have people, and always in our life, there'll be those for and there'll be those against. Those who are today in government were against somebody because we were not without a government when they surfaced, and therefore they were against, they spoke against, they demonstrated against, they criticized, and became a government. And obviously, a democratic process in a very civilized and very organized way will continue. I mean, I give examples here. I've seen when Kenny Anthony was Prime Minister of St. Lucia and Denzel Douglas was Prime Minister of St. Kitts. You saw they were huffing and talking strong and loud and, and puffing as if, well, nothing else could exist and so on. A little demonstration, they have all kind of problem to give and all of that. And when they get into opposition, you see them leading the biggest demonstration. And so while in government, they were anti-demonstration. When they get out of government, the same medium they use to get in the government, they use it again. That's the normal way of democratic practices and so on. So I have no fear about this thing.
Yes.
And of course,
But so let me say something.
yes, Paulo, yes, yes.
Yes, there's someone that is saying they will make a contribution of $120 EC and should get it to me by Wednesday.
Oh, great, yes.
Okay.
Thank you, that person.
Person doesn't want their
We
name to be
appreciate
mentioned
that
here.
and so on. We appreciate that.
Yeah. But so,
yes.
Permit me to make another special appeal, but let me preface it by going back to what you were saying when you was basically saying they started to do the apartments only when their hands were caught in the cookie jar.
Yes.
And thanks to the opposition, they gave the apartments because they were trying to show that how the money has been used. So not even that labor rights would have gotten if they were not caught with their hands in the cookie jar.
And exposed.
Unexposed. If they were not exposed, they not even that they would have gotten. So I want the labor rights to understand this, that these few little apartments that they did is a lot less. If you count, if you value the value of those apartments, it's a lot less than the $4 billion. It's a couple, I'm not sure many millions, but it's some millions, but it's a lot less than the 4 billion. In other words, there's a lot more the country can get. Those of you whose farms you're struggling with agriculture, tourism is not doing very well. Agriculture is not doing very well. Our country is not doing well. Do you know how much better you could be as a labor right? So I want to make that special appeal to the labor rights. You actually have someone who have hijacked your Labour Party. Call no elections within his party, even within his party. They have hijacked your party. So I want many of you to come and make a strong statement. First of all, our whole country should change. They seeking to give you a few little apartments, but that is nearly not enough. And all of us, all the country could benefit anyway. So make that strong statement to save your very party. You see, if the policemen show up and make a strong statement, if labor rights show up and make a very strong statement, this thing will come to an end. So this is your chance. This is not for Freedom Party alone. This is not for UWDP alone or the supporters of, this is not for the independent people alone. We are saying this is for all of us. All of us have an opportunity to make a statement to save our country. And I want to make one more special appeal. You know who else can make a big difference? Because I look at the social media all the time and on the various chats, and some people blame everything that's going on one man. But there are also a whole set of parliamentarians on the government side that you are also complicit because you stay and say nothing and do nothing, at least not publicly. But a few of you can be heroes on the 7th. A few of you speak among yourselves, and a few of you, all of you if possible, but maybe not all of you will show up. Maybe not all of you have that kind of guts to do what's right. But there must be some of you who's willing to do what's right. I want us to see a few of you show up and make a statement too. Because you see, if the police make a statement by coming on the 7th, if labor rights make a big statement by coming on the 7th, if one or two of the government parliamentarians say we are joining with the people, we are not siding with one man, we are joining with the people and make a statement, and the nurses and all of us make a big statement, this thing comes to an end. So I want to make these two special appeals. Labor rights, save your party. Because I don't have a problem with the Labour Party.
I mean, they have a slightly, I mean, all of us are up to the set. All of us believe in private sector and a role for the government. So all of us believe in a sort of a mixed economy, whether you're UWP or freedom or labor. So we're not very different in terms of philosophy. Some of us are slightly left of center, meaning that we want a little more government involvement in helping people. And I don't necessarily have a problem with your philosophy. I don't have a problem with your philosophy. The problem is there have been some greedy, wicked people that have hijacked our country, hijacked our finances, put aside $4 billion and all kinds of other kinds of corruption. They give you in return, they're insulting you with a little bit of something. And when they were caught, a little apartment that you don't even have a title to. You need to make a statement, labor rights. And there are some parliamentarians, you need to make a statement. You can become the savior or help to save Dominica by stepping out on the 7th, some of you parliamentarians.
Let me see.
Thank you so much, Kent.
Let me say a few words here, Bosso. Like Nurse Felix said, it could be $5, it could be $1. And when we started off this evening, I expressed the same sentiment. Those of you, we all know it's a rough time. Those of you who have buses, we are not saying that you have to take people down to Roseau or nothing. But sometimes the prices that some of the bus drivers ask while we are trying to seek contributions, the prices that they ask sometimes, we are not able to meet this cost. And because of that, we want a lot of people to turn out on the 7th. We are saying to you, the bus drivers, people who maybe you have a vehicle and you're coming to town on the 7th, and you can accommodate maybe 2 persons with you or 3 persons with you. Give them a lift. We know things are rough, yes, you have to put the petrol, but we are saying if that's how you can help us, contributing in that way, do it. Those of you who have buses and you can say, okay, maybe for 5 days in the week, I run the route and I made some cash. Let me put a $50 gas or $100 gas, and let me just take the people to town because it's for a cause, and we do not want to miss out on this because this is our final end that we has. If we doesn't do anything now, we may never have the opportunity again. And this is the reason why we are pleading with our people. Please make a little contribution, small as it is. You may not want to call tonight because you may figure out, yes, like Nurse said before, he doesn't have $100, but you doesn't have to give $100. You could give her $5. You could contribute at $2. Whatever you have, would greatly appreciate that. Bosso, for tonight, so far, our count here, we for the persons who contributed this evening, we has a count of $904. I did not include the amount that Dr. Thomas said because he didn't really give a figure here. But for the persons who made the contribution and they were specific with the amount that they want to contribute, our count here is 904. And we need much more than that because we have to pay for the system on the day of the event, because you don't want to come to an activity where you're going to hear a lot and the persons are going to make great suggestions on what we should do to move forward. And if you're a little distance away, you're not hearing anything. So we need that system to get on the truck. We also need to go out there like the 2 days before the 7th to announce, because there's places in Dominica that the people are not, radio is not reaching them. And we have to go out there and let people know that on the 7th they need to come down to town. We have a few minutes left, and that few minutes we have left, people call and contribute, because sometimes you have other radio programs and everybody is trying to raise some fund because things are really rough. We know that. We know you have your children to take care of. Graduation, a lot of schools are having graduation now. We know it's rough with you, but we are saying, little as it is, let us give something, because it's by giving we will see Dominica in a right state. We will see and Dominicans will have a different life and different, it will be just a different turnaround. So we are saying tonight, give as little as it is. Let's use the last few minutes we have here. Call my people, contribute. Let us be very passionate about what we are doing, because we are saying on the 7th, which is next week Sunday, you will hear all the other plans. We do not want to give our plan out there because it's time to use strategy with what's really happening. But like the people parliament, on the 7th, that is where you will gather a lot of information. You will actually hear what was given in the legislation and what was done to change everything around. And then you need to give your support. Give little as it is this evening.
Yes. I'm sure you all know of the song of we're getting a feedback coming from there. But I'm sure you know of the song of Kasav, say Gwendi Wikika Plesak. That means is every grain of rice that make a bag of rice. And as was said, whatever you are able to contribute, we will accept and appreciate. And again, www.nickleaf.org. And we give our numbers there. You could call us. You could reach out to us and meet members of the ERC and contribute to us and come here at Q, and you could make a contribution there to us as well. And you could go to UWP office and do the same. And as the gentleman said, he will give to Mr. Lennox Linton. So those of you who are able to pick up for us, and I mentioned Blue earlier on, and Nichols Andrew in Portsmouth, who have agreed to work with us in that area. And Paula, you may want to just give his number.
Okay. Yes. So Mr. Nichols Andrew number is 235-3938, and he's in the Portsmouth area.
So you could call him and arrange with him.
Yeah.
And of course, we will be very happy to get your support. And as we said earlier on, those of you overseas, and we've gotten some persons who have said they'll go there. I got a few people on my phone who said they will go there and contribute to www.nickleaf.org. You go there and you make a contribution through the website. So we're here, and tonight is the 29th of June. And the Prime Minister had said that he would be in Parliament before the budget to pass the law and require the law to be passed before the budget so that they could know what to put in it. We did say to you in an article we published as ERC that you don't have to have the amount before the budget to provide for it. You could, the electoral office with the commission will decide the requirement, the amount needed, sent to the Ministry of Finance, and it will take it from there and prepare. And if you do not have time for the budget, you could have what they call a supplementary estimate. We'll just explain that so people know exactly that the Prime Minister was just trying to pull a fast one. Let's take this call here. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Bosso.
How are you?
I'm good, man. And Paul, I there with you, right?
Yeah, good evening, Bob Marley. What's up, man?
I just get the message, but today I had a rough day. I didn't even tune in the program. I just pull up and I checked in my phone now. I see you guys on. But Compman, I'll send like 150 US before. You said the 7th, right? It wouldn't be tomorrow, though, sometime like Monday or Tuesday. But you'll get it before Friday, before the 7th.
For sure. So.
Yeah, but so let me say something. You see, we're in a unique position for electoral reform. Because those other countries that did the reform also, you didn't have none of the top executive or their leader saying that if they give reform, it's going to destroy the winning legacy. It's only Dominica that is in that situation because in Antigua also, opposition and government coming together to get the right reform for the people. And I always say what Roosevelt Scary did with that reform. He divided the people, make it sound like it's labor and UWP or labor and freedom, and they want to take him out, and it's like a power struggle. But as Ken said, that is not the issue. Because in a democratic country, you can have different parties. But you cannot tell me that the advantage you have as the incumbent, the opposition, not even anybody as a matter of fact. Sometimes somebody supporting Labour and they want to run as an independent. And they can't even do that. You understand? So electoral reform is everything, because when you have politicians knowing that they cannot get punished for what they do, but so the only way we could punish them is by voting them out. So Roosevelt Skerrit knows no matter what he do, he cannot get out of power. So he really don't care about the people. He don't give a rat head, because we cannot hold him accountable for his action. You have Dominica money, we don't know where it is, billions of dollars. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
We are involved in that same airport project. It costing 600 and something million. They tell us is 1.3 billion. We have the DPP under his thumb. When our highest court, which is a branch of our governance system in terms of checks and balances, handing down a ruling or advice saying that you cannot go into another election with those tainted lists, with those tainted issue pertaining our election, and you disregarding the law also. And democracy depends on the law of order. Roosevelt Skerrit had no respect for law, no respect for Dominica, no respect for people. So you have our hospital in trouble, farmers in trouble, teachers in everybody in trouble, Tutmun in trouble. So again,
Yes.
I'll support the vibes.
Thank you so much.
I'll send man. I'll make sure you guys get 150 US. It's not much, but
yes,
maybe can do something. As you say, boss, you're going the week. How you say it?
you're going to do a sack.
Couple sack, so
Yes,
that's good, you
yes.
know. So that's why I say, Madam Paula, thanks again, and you've been very, I have to say, very energetic, and thanks for everything you guys doing to save Dominica, man. Because if we don't get to electoral reform, it haven't got political party again, you know. Roosevelt doesn't have he self doesn't have a party. The Labour Party dead.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have convention. He doesn't elect members. The leader. There was nobody. Roosevelt is who. Also, I'm listening. I'm listening. Good program.
Thank you so much.
End of segment, because that's too much now, man.
Thank you. Thank you, Bob Marley. Good night. Thank you. Well, I followed the reform. In fact, we got from St. Kitts some of the documents that they're dealing with, and we made it available here. And you never hear. I mean, they had their discussion. Yes, they had their town hall meetings, they had their meetings, they had their engagement. But as the caller rightly said, this thing about William legacy and all of these, what we're hearing on now, you never hear those things in their reform. And if for St. Kitts, the Governor General ensured that everybody who had to be there were there. They had a seat at the table to discuss it. At the end of the day, they came up with a reform for their country that guide the electoral process, you know, and so on. In Dominica, and it took a few months. I mean, a few months to get those things going. In our case, we more than 14 years talking reform. We still talking reform and so forth. And when we paid money, in fact, the OAS paid for most of the reforms that was done in the Caribbean. They paid for it. In our case, we have to be paid, well, so Dennis Byron, $450,000. He engaged a lady to do the drafting. Our taxpayers paid for the lady's services $250,000. So that's a total of $700,000 that was paid. Then we brought in the OAS CARICOM Commonwealth. We never heard what they were paid. But for sure, to bring them here, they would have to come on the flight. They would have to stay in a hotel. They would have to have transportation to move around and so forth. And somebody would have to pay for that. Okay. Then we hadn't been able, we did a consultancy on that here. Somebody paid and so on. So we have been paying money all along. The work done by Sir Dennis Byron and that lady, the drafting done by this lady he had engaged with her, drafter, was thrown aside and a new group was selected. We're hearing names that were on that group. We're not sure if that is true. What we're hearing is speculation. And when there is no information, people speculate. And we don't know how much they were paid to have done this new set of draft legislations that we're now discussing. So we're 2 minutes before 10, and we just want to say to you that, yes, you have some time to call us and to contribute. We want to thank all of you who have called tonight and contributed and so forth. We expect many of you overseas to go to the Nick Cliff website and donate on the site, www.nickcliff.org. We expect a number of you to come here and contribute. Expect you to call me, call Ken, call Paula, meet teacher Felix, Rosie Felix, and
Nurse
Felix, that is, yes. Many people know by Nurse Felix. And of course, Washburn Coffee and all the others associated with the Election Reform Coalition. And of course, as well, you can also go to the UWP office and you can contribute whatever you can there, and we'll get it. And we can put all of that together to defray the expenses that we will, occur on the 7th. And we mentioned that we have the song system. We want to get a good song system that could have sufficient power to cover the whole area. We have to do announcement, promotion, and so forth. Paid for that. We have to do road moving around announcement. Somebody in a vehicle with gas, a PA system, generator, and song system going around the country. That's a course. And we also want to assist with some people with transportation too, so we can do that as well. And we said earlier on, you can also adopt a bus. I know some people had adopt a constituency, a community, and work with the constituency persons there, organizers. You can do the same. You have those numbers of the contact. You can contact them, and you can work with them and see how well we can put this thing together, because it is all of us doing this thing for the good of our country. Okay, so earlier on, I told you that we're in the hurricane season. There's some bad weather system in the area, so you have to be very careful. And we said as we go deeper into the season, you have to be very careful. You must be mindful of and listen to your advisories and take the necessary precautionary action to safeguard yourself, your family, and your property. So, of course, it's 10 now, and we expect to, if we get another call or two, we will take that. If not, we'll have to wind up and say thank God for his life and for the opportunity to be here and the courage that he has given us as Dominicans who work for Dominica. We're in the vineyard working and so forth. There's always, they always say the work is plentiful, but the laborers are few, and so on. But it will multiply over time. So, of course, well, Paula, it's one pass. I think it was a nice night being with you. Always, you were there last week.
Yes, Bosso. Well, again, I want to appeal to our listeners. If you have a bus, anywhere in Dominica you are and you have a bus and you want to assist us in transporting the people from where they are to get into town on the 7th, we are saying you can make contact with us as well, and you will tell us what the cost is like. We want you to work with us because we want to work with you. It's like crunch time in Dominica, and the money is not much. But those of you who are willing to assist for the cause, don't only look at it for today and figure out, okay, it's not much money, but, we are looking at it on a wider picture. And you may not make much now, but the effort that you will put into what we are doing, you will reap good fruits. Because if we work together as a team, we can achieve a lot. And we doesn't want you to just bring the people down to town on Sunday, and then when you get to town, you decide, okay, it's not my calling here.
Let's take this call. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening to you.
Yes, how are you? Everybody's okay?
We're doing fine. And what about you?
I'm good, I'm good.
Great.
I'm calling to pledge 100 US.
100?
US.
100 US.
You want to give us your name or your number?
I'm about to have my number.
Oh, I know who it is now. I know who it is.
Okay.
And you will send it the same way you have sent it.
Excuse me?
I said you'll send it to me the same way you have sent it the last time, right?
Yes.
Great,
yes.
great. So I'll look out for that. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Glad to hear you. Glad
Thank
to
you
hear
very
you.
much, ma'am.
Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you.
Yes. Okay, great. Yes. So I see we'll take one more call. The call came in and 100 US. So that is fantastic.
Yes.
In fact, the Germans will say fantastic. Very nice. Okay, Paula, you were winding up. We have to bring and then let Kent.
Yeah. So I was saying, assist us. You have a bus. When we take the people down for some reasonable prices, and you may not see what it is like today, but tomorrow you will reap good fruits. And like I was saying, when you take the people down to Roseau, don't go walking all around town. Stick around. You come to a meeting, hear what it is all about, because that's the final decision that is going to be made.
Yes. Okay then. Thank you, Paula. Kent.
Yes, indeed, Bosso. We need to speak very, very loud and clear. People of Dominica, we all need to speak very, very, very loud on the 7th, next Sunday, not this Sunday, the other one. Farmers, police, pot workers, everyone, speak very, very loud. If you consider yourself to be a righteous person, we need you to speak as well. Come, pray as you come, pray when you come, pray when you are there, but show up. Show up, everyone, very, very loud, let us speak. Because it's from that very loud speaking, we are seeking to prevent the government from taking this deformed legislation to parliament. It's from this very loud speaking that we want them to understand if they're going to take something to parliament, it must be right. And we are suggesting, we have said it several times, what it is that needs to be taken in the law into account to parliament. So we want to speak very, very, very loud so that good sense will prevail, so that the right thing can be done, that something that is just and fair can be done. We've got to speak loud. We have done everything which we can do. We have been patient. ERC, the political parties, everybody have been very reasonable. So that loud speaking should cause the government to stop what they're doing. Or if they're going to go to parliament, pause, put the law right, and then go to parliament. If they still will not listen, then they would have given the people of Dominica every right to take whatever action that is morally right to put the country in a good place, in a better place, in a just place, in a righteous place. A word to the wise is sufficient.
Good. Thank you so much. We appreciate that, Kent. And of course, as we said earlier on, I mean, the pledging tonight is not over. Continue to pledge and continue to give, continue to support. And you have my number, 276-0387. You have Paula's number.
275-5766.
You have Kent's number.
265-9450.
And I'm sure you can make contact with the others on the ERC and who are involved. And the ERC is made up of political parties, civil society organization, even the Evangelical Association, trade unions, many of us came together and created an umbrella group so that we can all speak about the wrong things in one voice. That's what we're doing. And we have spoken, we have written, we have done as much as we can to ensure that our country gets the right thing. And the laws that we are talking about are the laws that will be good laws to assist our electoral processes so election can be free, fair, and transparent. So it makes no sense we allow the government to legislate loopholes in the law that they can exploit to their advantage. So put in the campaign finance regulations, come on, and ensure that the voter ID card that you have put in the law is properly defined and is in the law, is not merely at the discretion of the chief elections officer. It has to be properly defined. Now, we have said that, and it was recommended that the commission should be extended. So you remove just the partisan thing in it, because you have the prime minister recommend two to be appointed to the president to be appointed, and the leader of the opposition recommend two to be appointed. And in the past, when they get there, they do professional work, and there was no bickering and fighting. They did professional work to guide our election and to be the referee there. So we said the time has come to expand it with, broaden it with, other persons from civil society, and to ensure that there is a woman there, at least there's a woman on the commission. And we also asked for as well the chief elections officer term to be retired at 55. So it's recommended that we move it to 65, and so that you give the commission and the office there greater time to manage and settle properly. And even with this reform there, the present chief will retire sometime this year. So it means if he retire this year and the new reform are in place, it means probably the new person may be too green to be able to handle all of these and so on. So you want this to be done and done properly. We also ask for, in terms of residency, for that to be settled, so you'll vote for a constituency based on where you live and so forth. And if you're abroad, as was said in the old law, for more than 5 years uninterrupted, you ought not to vote. And if you are coming in between elections, yes, you can vote if an election is taking place and you're on island, or if you pay your way and make a sacrifice to come and vote and so forth. But you should not get a gift to come and vote for not listening to the issues, not interested in the plight of the people, just interested in your trip and some gifts. You vote and you go back. This is what we are saying must be corrected. So it's nothing against our Dominican brothers and sisters overseas, because I myself have my two first daughters, they're overseas. I have brothers and sisters overseas and so forth. I have cousins and nephews and all of that overseas, and nieces. Okay, so thank you so much. We want to say thank you in a big way to Mr. G and the big station, and to the management and staff of the big station Q95 for the assistance over the last 4 programs. We know the lot of work that's going into this to prepare and get things set up. We want to say special mention to Sherwin, who always ensure that things are intact and so on. So again, thank you for listening.
Before we go, Bosso, let's give the listeners our final count here.
Yeah, what we got for tonight?
For tonight, we persons who call and contributed, as well as persons who said they did not want their name to be mentioned. We have here $1,571.
Yes.
Okay, $1,571.
And there's some persons who said they didn't give the amount, but they will.
But they will. Yes.
Yes.
So we're expecting.
But we are hoping by Wednesday, God's willing, to pick up in the region of $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 to be able to help us to defray these expenses that are coming up. And remember, after the 7th, the action continues, and so on. So again, thank you. God bless you. Have a good night rest. Tomorrow is Sunday, and so on. Go to your church and thank God for life and ask Him to give you the grace to persevere as you continue the struggle of life. Thank you. Good night. Thanks again, Paula and Kent
Thank you,
Vital.
Tuboso.
And
Thank
of
you, Mr.
course,
Vital.
yes.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Yes, and have a nice rest of the weekend. We're in the weekend already, rest of the weekend, I would say.
Yes.
Okay, God bless
Take care.
everybody.
All
Good,
right.
thanks.
Good.
Dominicans, we need our electoral reform. Tell them, but call the cabinet. Money can
during this program are not necessarily those of Wise Q95 FM radio. Wise Q95 FM radio has not been able to independently verify the factual correctness or the allegations and statements made during the course of this program and cannot vouch for their accuracy. Therefore, Wise Q95 FM radio will not accept any responsibility or liability for the statements or allegations made in the course of this program. The views expressed during this program
In the year 1493, Christopher Columbus came. He saw a huge mass of land. It was green, so high and untamed. It was Sunday, a lovely day, and blue as the sea and sky. We'll name this new land Dominica after all our steady pride. No need hell, no need country, no need shinking back for some support. Mene come to risule, boom, mene pilacha. If I think you want to be God, no. I think you want to be God, no. At first, spirits were not friendly. They chased strangers away. For a long time, this land was theirs, for no one else wanted to stay. But now today we can be free, and the land belongs to all. We'll make all land a happy dream, land all will be welcome to all. Yeah, no nation be but for just a God. When they come back to Risule, to me pilasha, me papite o kwada mi kwadu, papite o kwada mi kwadu. When the British heard of his place, they came to settle him. They brought Africans to our soil. The Caribs were to stay within. French people got to know of the land, so they came with a mind and will. Though the British want back the land, the French country's here with us still. No, they